Hi, welcome to Silent Thoughts. My name is Abby Van Aken and I am your host. So, pretty much for this podcast, I'm really just trying to create an environment that has a platform that we are comfortable talking about controversial topics. This can include, for me personally, mental health, women empowerment, social injustices, or really anything that people feel that need to be talked about but isn't talked about enough. My goals in this podcast is to create the environments that others feel comfortable to freely speak. I think we live in a time that a lot of people feel judged or are not sure of exactly what we want to talk about or how to communicate properly. So through this podcast, I'm trying to make it possible that we can have this opportunity. So with that, welcome to my first episode. And this week we will be talking about mental health. I personally find mental health to be a huge part of my life. I'm a huge mental health advocate, and actually I have the opportunity to work mental health every day. I currently work with children who are going through many different struggles in life, and I work outpatient with them. The age range of these children for me go from 6 to 17 years old, and boy, it's a roller coaster. But I love it. I wouldn't take it back for a single thing. In this podcast, I have a couple goals that I want to achieve. I've had the opportunity to bring on a special guest. I'm going to bring his interview in a little bit. But with him, I want to talk about what is the impact mental health awareness has had in your life. What is the some opportunities that you've had? What are some ways that you think mental health awareness could be fixed, or not necessarily fixed, but what is the outcome that we're trying to achieve? And then some personal stories that have made an impact in your life. And with that, let's go ahead and get started.
Hey, I'm Ben, and I'm currently working as a nurse in a mental health facility. But yeah, nice to meet you guys.
So basically, this week I was doing a little bit of research on what I wanted to talk about. At the end of the day, I ended up deciding we're going to talk about mental health, especially since Mr. Ben said that he works as a nurse doing mental health. So I wanted to just start with, what is your experience working as a nurse in a mental health treatment center?
I mean, to be honest, it's something that I didn't choose. It wasn't my first pick. But it ended up just being something that you enjoy after a while. I mean, yeah, healthcare wise, it's rewarding, but I think mental health is just you feel a little bit more rewarding when you notice the change that you've done in some people. It is a little complicated, especially dealing with kids. Kids being my full-time unit. So it's just a little bit complicated just because they're still developing and they don't know what's going on. And sometimes you get a lot of patients who they don't understand what's happening, but they just feel different and they see themselves different. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed it, and I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything else so far.
Other than that, has there been like a huge impact that you've seen through this employment that you can take to your daily life?
I mean, personal wise, I've seen a lot of kids go through stuff that maybe growing up we went through the same things, and it was just like they don't find somebody who can address it to them as personally somebody would have addressed it to myself, like putting myself in their shoes. And it's like I wish somebody would have talked to me more about this, like sometimes bullying or different things that they're going through school. And it's like bullying is just, I don't know, I just feel like it's getting worse, and it takes a big toll in their mental health, just because now it's not only like a physical type of bullying, but it's more of an emotional type that it's just getting them. And I don't know, it's something that once you get that good rapport with them, they're able to open up and talk more about it. And I mean, being somebody who's already gone to school and you lived your childhood a different way and handle things in a different way, now you have a better meaning or better concept of what you could have done better in those situations. You can openly express it to them, like, hey, look, this is what you can do. This is what something that would be better for you if you try this. So I think that's a big impact in myself, just because growing up there was a lot of bullying and stuff like that.
Any tips that you think you could give to like friends and family who are going through something hard in life and mentally draining?
I mean, I would just say, find somebody who you can open up to. Most of the time, I feel like we hold on to things and we don't open up to anybody. And some people are willing to hear you out. I mean, it just, you opening up to somebody and letting loose, it'll make you feel a little bit better, just to blow off some steam. Mm-hmm. I think that's a lot of the cases that go on that we get with kids. They just don't know how to open up to their parents. They don't know how to open up to peers or their staff members at school. So they hold it in. Sometimes they have a lot of anger, sometimes jealousy. I mean, just because the older sibling or the younger sibling, So there's a lot of things that they hold on to, and I mean, there's only so much you can withstand. And I mean, you're gonna have a moment where you're gonna pop off, and I feel like just talking to somebody will help a lot. Will help a lot. And I mean, even if that person is not really much of help, but I think just somebody who to hear you out will be. They don't have to give you like no advice or anything like that, but just somebody who will hear you out. I think that plays a big role.
Personally, with myself, I've been learning a lot of coping skills, and that is a huge point of just finding someone as an outlet. I know personally myself, I tend to keep myself and all these thoughts in, but over the summer we have to do mindfulness activities with our kids, and just being able to express and help them go through all these coping skills have actually helped me. Advocate for these kids through everything that they've been through. Has definitely encouraged positive behaviors and positive relationships. I think working out has probably been the best thing for me, because sometimes you don't always have that outlet. You don't have someone to kind of...
And you know what's weird? Sometimes, like growing up, I don't know. I just didn't think mental health was a thing. Mm-hmm. And it was more like I would just throw it out the window. Like, oh no, it's just myself, like it's just problems are going on. But I mean, going to nursing school and going to like the mental health courses and everything, I don't know, a lot of the symptoms that the professors would talk about, I'm like, hey, like I have this, like I feel this way, I'm going through this. And it's just like, maybe this is a real thing, So it's just like, sometimes we're not aware of it, or we just want to throw it off to the side. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, okay, like we need to find, like, get more information, go out there, talk to somebody. Because I mean, you don't know, it's something that can pop off. And like you said, exercise, it's something to blow off steam. It helps a lot, honestly.
Yeah. I know my parents now finally understand that mental health is a real thing. Growing up, I could never talk to them about anything. And as my dad is ex-military, and so he's dealing with a lot of PTSD now, and he's actually going to therapy for this stuff. And now I can have a conversation with him. Whereas, let's say something like 6 years ago, that would have never been a topic. So it's crazy, and it might be a generational thing that we're able to implement, because I know mental health is a new thing.
I think it's like you said, it's a generational thing, because I mean, talking to a lot of these kids' parents, it's like they don't want to believe in it. Like they don't want to believe that their kid's going through something, their kid has something. Most of the times, like, he's faking it, or she's very manipulative, and it's like, okay, like, some of these kids might be manipulative, but that's just that just leads to there's a problem. Why is she being manipulative? So it's a lot of these problems. Parents, I feel like they still don't think it's true. They still don't want to believe it, even though like their kids are showing signs that, I mean, that a normal kid won't show. Not saying they're abnormal, right? But it's just like, it's not typical kid behavior. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, like I know coming from a Mexican family, it's not something they really yeah. So it's mainly like, okay, well, medical wise, yeah, they'll believe in it and all that stuff, but mental health, it's something that they's not given the opportunity like everything else.
What is the age population you typically work with?
I work anywhere from 4 years old all the way to 12, but I mean, I've moved over to units from when they're 13 all the way to 17. So I mean, I've worked all the kids all the way to teenagers.
Okay.
It's insane sometimes. They're like little angels when they sleep, but when they wake up, they're running around, jumping everywhere, and they're kids, you know. You got to deal with a different type of behaviorals that they have. So I mean,
yeah. What's your favorite activity to do with the kids?
I mean, just letting them run outside. It gets to the point where it's very loud in the unit, and there's so much energy buildup because they haven't been able to go outside. So they start getting impatient. They don't want to sit down anymore. They don't want to watch TV. They don't want to do activities anymore. As soon as we open the back door to go play, it's like they release all their energy. And the weather's super hot right now, and even though it's hot, like they're still running around. They're still doing like activities. I mean, us as adults, we go outside and it's just like, I don't even know how you want to run. Like, no, we give them water and they're running. They have so much energy. Like they suck our energy away from us. I'm like, man, we need to suck y'all's energy away and let y'all calm down a little bit. But no, I think that's my favorite part of the day. Just letting them release their energies to put the build up. Yeah. Working with kids is like, it gives you a different type of. I don't have not any kids of my own, but working with kids just gives you like a different vibe through the day. As of working with adults, you get a totally like it's the vibe is very, I'd say peaceful, but it's like a boring peaceful kind of vibe. Working with teenagers is okay, but you're more on the have to be on your guard just because anything can pop off with the teenagers, and with the kids is more of a happy kind of vibe, you know. So it's very rewarding. I mean, my choice was never to work with kids, but I ended up loving it. I'm like, I love it. I don't want to leave this unit.
Through this interview, it was such an opportunity to have Ben come and participate because it was so insightful to hear what he had to say, especially being a nurse who works mental health. I know I work mental health, so I have a little insight, but it's different hearing him say it so that y'all could hear his little bit. My personal favorite was the fact that he loves his job so much and working with these children, just being able to like shape and mold them to the person that they can be is amazing. We give them so much potential, and by breaking these generational barriers of communicating what is mental health and all these other opportunities that are out there. I mean, there's so many things, so many platforms that people are unaware of. Such as, September is the suicide prevention month, and I know every fall we do a suicide walk. I know last fall we did the NAMI walk, and NAMI is basically all the mental health treatment centers and all the mental health companies come together and we walk in participation to show expression that we're here for mental wellness, and mental health awareness is alive and readable and can be found anywhere. Another thing that I really enjoyed hearing was his favorite part of the day. Imagine you're in a unit, you have 20 patients. These kids range from 4 to 12 years old. They are going rampant. Letting them play outside. I know as us as adults, it is so hot outside and we don't want to be out here. However, these kids, let them play, let them run, get that energy out. It's so nice to see a kid be a kid, especially if they're in an inpatient facility where they're trying to figure out, I don't understand what's going on with me, or they have family home issues. So I definitely enjoyed hearing that little insight of what his favorite part of the day was. I know I look so forward to future podcasts, and that this was my first video, or that this was my first podcast. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I definitely look forward to the future of what else can we do. So before we finish off this podcast, I want to do two things. First, I'm going to go ahead and do some research on some future potential topics that we should talk about, and then I'm going to post a poll on my social media, and I want you guys to vote on exactly what we should talk about. I like this because it's kind of draws the attention of y'all. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. The whole point of Silent Thoughts is to create this safe space where y'all feel comfortable talking about all these controversial topics that you may not feel comfortable talking about other places. Second, before I close off, I'm going to go ahead and attach a couple mental health resources. This can include the suicide hotline. Since we did just talk about mental health, I want to make sure that y'all have all the resources out there that are available and they're known, just in case you do ever need them one day. And then also, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. I have definitely appreciated all y'all's support, and be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and if you guys want any input on what we're going to talk about next week, please be sure to comment and vote on my polls. They will be out by tonight, I promise. So I definitely look forward to hearing what y'all want to talk about next week. And again, I'm your host, Abby Van Aken, and you're listening to Silent Thoughts.